Hey guys, welcome to Priceless B Movies. Alright, here it is. For the second time and hopefully the last, I'm going to re-record one of my reviews. A couple days ago I got back from the Horror Hound Weekend convention in Indianapolis and it was a lot of fun, except that I got home and received a notification from one of my fans basically saying that they could not find two of my reviews on YouTube. I went to my YouTube page and found out that two of my reviews, Bad Dreams and Dr. Giggles, were missing from my YouTube page. Wrote YouTube about it, and basically they told me, well, we didn't intentionally take anything down, so we're not sure what happened. And I'm an idiot and did not back up those videos. So now I'm re-recording those two reviews. I just re-recorded Bad Dreams, and now we're going to do the second one. Dr. Giggles. So Dr. Giggles stars Larry Drake as this real Looney Tune, which is great because he's like wonderful at playing crazy guys. He's almost always a crazy guy. Every time I think of him, I either think of this or Darkman. And anyone who's seen this or Darkman will tell you that that's probably what they think of him from too. Well, like I said, he's this crazy guy, and he's this crazy guy who, for whatever reason, he thinks he's a doctor. He thinks that he's this really skilled surgeon, even though he knows absolutely nothing about anatomy or safe medicine for that matter. So at the beginning of the film, Larry Drake escapes from the asylum that he's been in, and he goes back to his hometown to finish his dad's work. His dad actually was a doctor and crazy. So basically you have his dad was a doctor and crazy, and the son is crazy and thinks he's a doctor. Now if that hardly makes any sense at all, don't worry. Next to nothing in this movie makes sense. Once he's back in his hometown, he picks off a couple of people here and there, and then he sets his sights on a young woman played by Holly Marie Combs. If you've seen Charmed, then you know who that is. This was basically about 6 or 7 years before that show became popular, so she definitely looks a little younger, and she's not as good of an actress in this one. The thing with Holly Marie Combs' character, I'll just say Jennifer, that's the character's name. The thing with Jennifer is that she, even though she's very young, she has a very serious heart condition. And Larry Drake basically falls for her, and he starts thinking, well, I'm going to fix her heart. I'm going to get her and bring her in, and I'm going to give her a heart transplant. Now, this could seem like a really nice thing for him to do, except, as I said before, he's not a doctor. He doesn't know what he's doing. So this is actually a very scary concept that he's going to cut her open and take her heart out. That's basically what the threat is. Dr. Giggles came out in 1992 and was very heavily edited by the MPAA. That's not to say that the movie isn't violent and isn't bloody, but from what I understand, even the director came out in a podcast one time and said that the film was originally much gorier, and the MPAA just kind of had it out because the early 90s, as I've said in several of these reviews, is right around the time when the MPAA was starting to say, you know what, fuck slasher movies. We're not going to let these be any fun for anybody. We're going to take all the violence and all the gore out of this, or at least as much as we can. The gimmick of this film works really well, though. There's the gimmick that he thinks he's a doctor. All of the kills are somehow medically related, and some of them are very straightforward, like he has a thermometer with a little razor blade at the end and he impales someone through the head, and it's like, okay, well, that's simple enough. And then some of them are a little more complex, like the liposuction death, and that's all I'm going to say about that. You can probably get a nice image in your head of how that goes along. My personal favorite was the huge band-aid that he puts to cover this girl's face and she ends up suffocating. I have no idea why I think that's funny. I think I'm just nuts. Yeah, I'm just nuts. While I don't care that much for Holly Marie Combs in this movie, I can't really say it's much of her fault. She was still a very young actress at this point, and she really just is the damsel in distress. And so, I mean, she's the very typical slasher movie heroine, and she never really gets beyond that. I had a lot of trouble buying her performance, especially when her facial expressions almost never change. I almost think that she was kind of the Kristen Stewart of the early 90s in this movie. Even though I don't care for her, though, I gotta say, Larry Drake kills it. Every time I hear that laugh, that I go fucking like, ugh, like my hairs on the back of my neck stand up. He is really creepy in this movie, but he's also really funny in this movie. This is definitely one of those movies where you'll watch him do something, you'll be like, ew, that's gross. Ew. All in all, Dr. Giggles is a pretty good time, if not a wonderful classic award-winning film. I'm basically going to give Dr. Giggles 2.5 out of 4 stars. This is almost good enough for me to be like, oh, everyone should see this, even if you don't particularly like it. I can't even really say that about Dr. Giggles. I think it's a fun movie, but I can certainly see a lot of people thinking that it's just really dumb. Well, there you have it. That's my re-review for Dr. Giggles. Stay tuned here in the next 2 days. I'm going to get back to reviewing new movies. I have Doppelganger, Psycho Cop Returns, and Case 39 that I'm going to review for you guys here in the next couple days, so stay tuned. Also, if there's a movie you can think of that's either underappreciated or overlooked by mainstream audiences and you would like to hear my opinion on it, please let me know in the comment section below and I'll see what I can do about checking out a copy of that movie and putting up a review for you. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Priceless B movies.